We are on page 178. This is number 16 from the 7.1 independent practice. This one's a little bit time consuming, but I'm going to do my best to help you understand it. Number 16 reads, make a conjecture. Complete the table, then find the rates distance over time and time over distance. So first things first, you got to complete the table because you can't write the distances over the time if you don't know all the distances. So the first things first, this information right here is really helpful. If you know that in 5 minutes you would travel 25 meters, then you could simplify that. In other words, how would you get from this 5 down to this 1 right here? Well, you would divide by 5. So I'm working backwards, but 5 divided by 5 would be 1. So what would you do with this 25? Well, you would divide it by 5, and you would get 5. Now, this right here is known as the unit rate, and you can use that. I'm going to go ahead and erase here. I showed you how I got my work there, or how I got my answer. Now I'm going to erase to make it neat. This is the unit rate. Now this can be used to solve everything else. You know that if 1 minute is a distance of 5 meters, then 2 minutes would just be doubled. So it would be a distance of 10 meters. That's simple. And then the last one, you know the distance is 100, and you could get this from any of the other terms. You could simply take this one right here and say, I notice it's times 4. So if you multiply 25 by 4, you multiply 5 by 4 to get 20. So we got all our terms here. We all have our ordered pairs. Now question A, and off to the side, I guess off to the side we do first. The directions say find the rates, and it shows you two things. The first one it shows, I'm going to go back to the directions. It says complete the table, then it says then find the rates, and it says the words distance over the words time. Really all that means is to take all your distance terms and write them as your numerators, and then all your time terms as your denominators. Simply put, I'm taking the terms as they look and flipping them. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's because look, distance is on top of what they're asking, times on the bottom. So my first pair was 1, 5, but I'm going to write that as 5 over 1 because the distance was 5 meters. And the time was 1 minute. And I'm going to do all 4 of those. So the second one would be 10 to 2. And the third one would be 25 to 5. And the first one would be 100 to 20. Now at this point I'm going to let you do the second one, with the hint of notice in the directions what you're doing here is you're just flipping them. The second one, you're just going to reciprocate. You're going to write those, basically all those same terms, but you're going to write them upside down. So question A says, are the time, distance, rate equivalent? Explain. Well, what you just found for this right here, I didn't do it, but what you found right here, it's just asking if those are all equivalent. Is the first one equivalent to the second one? Is the second one equivalent to the third one? Is the third one equivalent to the fourth one? If so, explain. You might be able to explain that using the word simplify. They do simplify, they don't simplify, they all simplify to, if they all simplify to something, then that could be part of your explanation. So that is probably what the best way to get to solve question A. Question B reads, suppose you graph the points time, comma, distance, and your friend graphs the points distance, comma, time. How will your graphs be different? Some kids might look at this and say, oh, they'll be the same, but I want to remind you of something. When you graph, the x value is the first one and the y value is the second one. So what does that mean? Well, it says you, so suppose you graph time, and that's first, so that's going to be the x. So what you would do, how you'd start your answer, I'm going to start a good answer for B, and I'll let you finish it. And, excuse me there. So it says, suppose you, so I'm going to write, if you graph time, comma, distance, your time would be on the x-axis and your distance would be, and I'm going to let you finish this. Now you're not done. You've got quite a bit more to do. And the reason why is because you have to finish the sentence, which is, where would your distance be? You should have a really good hint on that. And I mean, I can draw it right here. I'm going to put it back on pen here. Your distance would be on the, you can finish that. Then you need to write a sentence about your friend, because your friend, you got to read carefully, your friend is going to graph what on the x-axis and what on the y-axis. If you're thinking, aren't they just going to be reversed? It's a lot like that, yes. So I'm going to let you finish to the best of your ability all of number 16, and that's the conclusion of your assignment. Good job.